while since you felt like this. Been a while since you felt like this. Been a while since you felt like this. There must be something wrong. I guess I felt.
Hello everyone, welcome to Ankara, a city of around 5 million and the capital of Turkey. I'm Ted Bart, and Mark Hanreddy will be joining us live from his studio in Nottingham. Now this is the final event on day one here, the men's short program. And this is very interesting indeed because other than Shunsuke Nakamura of Japan, who comes into this event with 11 points, not one of the entries in this event have any points towards the Junior Grand Prix event or the final. So it's an open book. Anyone can be on the podium. Perhaps a couple favorites, Jacob Sanchez of the United States and Arlet Levandi of Estonia, who was on the Senior Grand Prix series last season. 23 entries from 19 nations, and the men's short program begins right now. Welcome back, everyone, to Ankara and the men's the men's short program on day one here. I'm Ted Bart, along with Mark Hanreddy. There's a look at the technical panel for this event. We thank all the officials for the time that they spend, and not only coming here, taking time out for work and from their family, but the years and years of training that they have spent to become an international officials. We take a look at the start order for the junior men's short program. Mark, welcome back again in the third event on day number one here.
This is where I can step up and speak and sing your praises, Ted, because you are having to deal with much more than I and supporters. All the stand-ups, you're being pulled from pillar to post, but we, the skating community, appreciate it and heart it, even though I know that you're probably feeling run ragged.
No, it's all fine. It's just difficult at times to find food or to have a short break. But we love what we do, so it doesn't matter what it is. You have to sacrifice to be an athlete. You have to sacrifice to be a coach. You have to sacrifice to do whatever. It's all fine. We love it. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it. That's for sure. So I enjoy every step of the way, and we're so lucky with the team that we have. We talked about that at an earlier event today as we were watching the men's warm-up in the first group. The outstanding production team that we have here with us on site.
Brilliant.
From the social media and the editors and the directors, the camera people, and we have such a team, and they all pull together, and we have the easy part. We get to talk and be on camera and have fun talking to people like Kirsten Margaret Towers and Jason Brown and Kathy Reed and Caitlin Osmond and all the guest commentators we've had as well. And we have Yui, of course, in Lausanne, and and Andreas and Selena and all the people that are contributing to this broadcast, of which we get to sit and talk about the sport we love. Without all their work, this simply doesn't happen, and we don't get to have the fun doing it. So we thank them for all the incredible work and for the support of the ISU, really, and the council, who has spent now 11 years on supporting this production for the ISU. And don't forget about them, who invested in expansion of junior skating around the world, and we see that coming with new nations joining the ISU as well. So it's been a good story, and it's been a great joy. It's been our honor to do this. I'm sure you feel the same.
Oh, completely. And I think, you know, it's so wonderful to not just see it take place, but also to recognize the solidity of the Junior Grand Prix in the calendar and the focus that it brings, because all these coaches that we see regularly will be inspired to encourage their students to compete at this standard of competition. It shines as a big beacon in the path of the junior skaters' trajectory, and that's testament to what a harmonious and good vibe the Junior Grand Prix has.
Yeah, it's so cool that some of the great skating stars have supported us and come on as guest commentators, like Jason Brown, and you know, it's fantastic. We see William Chan here just having a problem. He's the first skater out, so he's in the last little bit of his warm-up. But to have those great skaters come back and help support the journey and the commentary of the journey of these young skaters is a real honor for these skaters and for us as well. So we thank them.
And just as well as the commentary that we've had, we've also, as we saw in the pairs event, seen these brilliant stars of the sport return, and that gives me the opportunity to just acknowledge the likes of those stars, like Kristen Keenum, who is a 3-time national champion from the United States of America. I awarded him a world championship in my description of him. His wife is a world champion, and I'm sure he's very happily connected to his wife as a world champion, but he himself, 3-time US national champion. But there's so many of the coaching staff have all been participants on the Junior Grand Prix or ISU championship level themselves as well, and giving back now.
Yeah, it's so great to see on the faces of these young skaters the excitement to be at this event. And it's not a world championship. They're on that journey to get there, either junior or senior world championships. But it is an exciting series, and it's exciting for the first international experience for some of these skaters to come to what they would consider at this stage and age as the big show. And it's a lot of fun to be part of, that's for sure. So do we have any more questions coming in, or we have to ramble?
We sure do. So the next question, what do... From @FriderYCKA, what are the most common injuries among pro skaters, so among professional skaters? Well, it's varying, I think, discipline to discipline.
Yeah, usually... sorry, go ahead.
Well, I don't know about you, Ted, but for me, when I was lifting more, that's when it became shoulders. But previously, I think that hips and knees, the joints that get the most pounding for the single skaters, they tend to be hips, knees, and ankles, the joints for the jumpers, and certainly for men in pairs and dance, perhaps shoulders and wrists.
Yeah, a lot of bruises.
Getting abused.
A lot of bruises on falls, and that's why you see them in practice session. There's special padding now that they wear on their legs and on their waist or their buttocks, just to protect their hips from a hard fall. And some have elbow padding and things like that. So there's a little bit less and less. Stress fractures can be, there's a little bit less of that now than there was in my day, but stress fractures can be common in the young skaters if they're just doing too many jumps and not doing them well. But the technique is so good with these skaters nowadays that there are less injuries. Not that there aren't any. They all have some. Every athlete, hey, listen, people walk in the street, step off the curb the wrong way. They, sprain an ankle. It happens to everyone. But the injury management is a lot better now, but they're still at risk, of course. So generally, the hips and the knees and the ankles, generally speaking. Okay.
So that's time up for the men in this first group.
And our first skater, there he is, William Chan. He was 5th at the national championships in junior, and he's new to this level of skating. There's Angela Duffy beside him, his coach as he takes to the ice. First skater out. I'm not sure if that's welcome or not. Go ahead, Mark.
And William Chan, his coach describes William as a very hard-working athlete whose goal is to skate as cleanly as possible and enjoy his first Junior Grand Prix experience. Canada's William Chan opens the men's short program, and we saw in the warm-up him struggling with the triple lutz combo, managed to do triple lutz, triple toe in the program, but then made the mistake on the triple flip in the second half of his short program.
Which looked good in the air, and he had his foot underneath him, but a little bit too far forward and slipped off the picks. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. He's got great skating skills, wonderful acceleration and flow across the ice. He's new to this. He's going to be quite something in the future, but he's got a lot of lessons to learn, as do all these athletes at this stage. Here's the double axel. That was nice, good flow in the landing. And here's the triple lutz. Take a look. All the way around, reloads down low in the knee, pushes up high, gets all the way around, has to step out. But overall, pretty nice. Here's the triple flip. Watch the landing here. He looks to be on top, no problem. A little bit forward, and the picks just don't hold. Yeah, too bad. Look good.
Nice jump.
And there's a spin, the change of edge there. Good camel spin, good speed. And the tap over, a little loss of center on that spin. It's a minus GOE on that, and here's some of the step sequence. This comes in the level 2 only, so some work to be done in that area.
Yeah, his blade has good acceleration, maybe just not the greatest depth of the edge at the point of the turns, and that hence the level 2.
But actually, not a bad outing for this young man. First time out in international competition at this level, and you have to gain that experience. And he had that flip, but you can never take anything for granted. You let it settle in the knees and absorb that landing on a running edge.
And he had enough air on the flip and the Lutz to look like those could become quads in the not too distant future. So
yeah,
a surefire sign of his potential.
He's a good jumper. He has explosiveness off the ice quickly. He's got a pretty good air position rotation. Can be better, but pretty good. And he's got great flow and acceleration, and a lot, and then good spin positions as well. But lots of experience to be gained to put this all together, as we've talked about, you know, forever, about how long it takes to put a whole career together. Yeah, and now reflecting back on the program, and this is such an important time in an athlete's career when they first come out internationally, how to cope with all the changes, the environment and all of that. 57.68, that's a pretty good score for that fall on the flip. That's not bad at all. A good start for William Chen from Canada.
Well, the next skater has a fascinating concept behind the short program of Obscura. The story is about a creature that is at the start part of nature already, lost in nature, stuck like a rock, and he is fighting nature to be free of it. His aim is to get much bigger, much higher, like paradise or heaven. And at the end, he gets there to a place high above. Arlet. Well, the closing seconds of that program were just almost incomprehensible. Arlet Levandi, the 18-year-old, showcasing so much maturity, so much complexity in the composition of the program. And it isn't a surprise to know that this is a skater who competes on the senior level, such as the maturity of his performance. But of course, as he hugs his mom and coach, mistakes made. I mean, even the start position is incredible.
Yeah, really reaching out and how to use the body for different angles and positions. And I thought that he did a great job with that, and even didn't let that one mistake in the triple axel really tear the rest of the program down. Watch the landing on this. This is a downgrade and a 2-foot, of course, but comes back with triple flip, no problem. Nice flow landing. And this, he missed the triple toe loop, I guess. There's the double toe loop here, but not too much damage done.
Just so much consideration into so many aspects of the program for Arlet. Just the, I mean, that's the difficult feature, but it's much more seamless than we see from others. We're seeing others having to change. Shame there because they've lost the combination of turns feature within the step sequence, so it can't be the level 4 that I'm sure he's capable of. Just that little mistake in twizzle. But the way in which the step sequence interspersed within the choreography, so it doesn't feel so much like an element so much as a part of the concept.
Boy, that is not an easy ending as you slide across the ice to hold that position, but he managed it pretty well. And you know, not his best program, 75.43 is his personal best. He'll still have a pretty good score here for juniors who want to clean up that triple axel, but you can see the scenic qualities here and really some interesting angles in choreography.
Yeah, it's the kind of skater that you want to watch again. Like, I want to watch the use of the boot for that ending of the program, and that, you know, whilst this will not lead the field by the end of the event, I'm pretty sure, based on what we can expect of what's to come, it's these moments of the skater that I'll remember that I want to watch back, and that's special.
It takes a lot of energy. We've talked about this on a occasion, how much energy output there is in choreography that demands different levels and different positions. So when you talk about conditioning and the ability to execute your technical elements, in addition to probably in some cases, you know, maybe not twice as much as another skater who's not doing the choreography, but a lot more physicality and demands on the body and your cardio system just to get through the program. So this young man is testing himself, not only technically, that's fine, we understand what that is, but through that choreography, putting a lot of demands on himself. But it comes out in the PC scores. You're dealing with 7s here now, so he automatically moves himself into that category with creative innovation.
And he gives himself a little bit of a buffer with the quality of the program components, so that when the mistakes are made, there is still a support from the second mark. But you know, he's bound to be with parents like his mother was a world silver medalist and is his coach, and his dad was a Nordic combined skier and an Olympic medalist in that. So he comes from a family who the ethics of the family's discipline must be so high that it's almost inevitable that he's going to be more eager to do the run-throughs than some others might be, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly. Well, 63.60, that, of course, he's first in the competition so far. Wow. And there is a look at your first two skaters, 63.57. Both not bad scores for the start of the competition, but many more men yet to come, and we'll see what happens as our next skater has a lot of skill as well, Mark.
The next skater is 17-year-old Jacob Sanchez, who was just off the podium, 4th and 5th. Last year in his 2 Junior Grand Prix assignments, you can see him there just simulating the takeoff for the triple axel, in which he intends to open his short program to Skating to Music by John Miles.
Well, that was outstanding.
Yeah. I'd read, Ted, that Jacob Sanchez from the United States of America has a psychologist to help him with the mental pressure of the sport. And I don't know if it's that or if it's just the combination of great technique, but that was just an example of somebody who seemed so assured and confident in it being able to deliver when it counted.
Well, he looked outstanding in practice yesterday, just unbelievable. And I thought if he skates anything like that, he's going to be tough to beat. And he did that in spades here. Let's take a look at the elements. Here's the triple axel. Look at the distance, the height, and how smooth was that landing. That's amazing. And then the entrance into the triple flip. So easy, soft knee, straight back, solid positions. And look at that slide right down the ice into traveling 3 turns, right into the change combo spin. Level 3 though, he's missing one feature. And here is the final jumping past the triple Lutz. Absolutely no problem. Reloads, triple toe loop, solid, nothing off on either of those jumps. Amazing.
I look at that wonderful smile as well from a skater who knows that they have just delivered. And Jacob, I'm sure, will be aware of what's been happening as we see some good movement within the step sequence, and know that the scores that are posted as some of the biggest on the Junior Grand Prix thus far are over the 80-point marker. Jacob hoping to do just that. Last week, Jan Hao Lee had an 83.25. I don't think he has quite the refinement of the New Zealand skater who won last week, but certainly the grade of execution on the jumping passes, I think, some of the best that we've seen.
Yeah, an 80 score is a senior score, really. I mean, may not be the top of seniors, but if you're in the 80s, well, you're in contention.
Well, thinking about the Nebelhorn Trophy, the Challenger Series event that is taking place right now, only one man of the 22 men in that Challenger Series senior event scored over 80 points. And Jacob, I think, I mean, I'm saying this, I assume that what he's just delivered will be worthy of an 80-point score.
Yeah, exactly. Let's take a look at his score. His personal best, 77.69. Will he beat it here right now?
Oh, anxious wait.
Yes, tension mounts.
Tension mounts, exactly. I feel it.
He had to stop smiling. He was so tired. His cheeks were tired. Wait for the score. Here it is. There it is, an 81.14. They can see that. And he knows what that means. He knows that's not just the top score here. That's his top score. And he's in senior territory with an 80, an 81 in the short program here in Ankara. Wow.
Second highest short program score of the series. Oh, as we see a blast from the past, Ilya Klimpkin, former world junior champion, the coach for the next skater.
Wow.
Nikita Krivosheyev. Nikita Krivosheyev representing Kazakhstan, and I think I remember the skater from last season, Ted, based on the quality of the landing position, beautiful turnout, beautiful extension, and although this was not the skate he was hoping for, especially with that opening jump combo fall, I do see significant speed increase and improvement season upon season, just not the skate that anybody would have hoped for with the mistake.
Yeah, this is his first Junior Grand Prix of the season. See, there's the triple Lutz, just opening up way too early. No sense of checkup, but he was starting to lean forward, so I think he just sort of bailed on it. Triple flip, that was beautiful, right into a little falling leaf. And then he went up to the double axel right away, which is unusual for a short program to do 2 jumps back to back like that. So I pushed the button too quickly.
I wonder how many of the judges were ready for the next creative execution because the axle came so quickly.
It's a good question. Their eyes may have been down on the panel, pushing their score in or something. Who knows, right? That's what's dangerous about doing that. There's no advantage to that. There's just a possible disadvantage. We see a little hop in that back camel position, and that was a flying camel level 3. The chain combination spin at the end here is only a level 2, so he's missing a couple features here. You can see he can spin, and he's got flexibility, and he has strength. Maybe just not the discipline in the positions yet, just to squeak out every point that you want or that you need.
Yeah, certainly short on rotation, I think, in the second position. And interesting, it's great to see the 1999 World Junior Champion Ilia Gogitidze with him. He was one of the most unique skaters.
Completely.
And I think really, gosh. And I think Nikita has the potential, especially with the spins and the flexibility that he has, to showcase some unique originality.
Yeah, 48.83, that's 4th in the short program so far. And we take a look, there are the standings, and Ilia Gogitidze was an innovator, and he was so exciting because he brought something new to the ice. Now he's bringing that to his athletes. Mark?
And now to 16-year-old representing Ukraine, Mark Kulish, 3rd at the Ukrainian Junior National Championships, skating to Tango de Roxanne. Mark Kulish, the 16-year-old, born in Odessa, the place where he trains, completes a short program. And for those of you that keep your eyes on the top left-hand corner of the screen, as somebody excitedly throws on some cuddly toys for him.
They're called stuffies, okay? The cuddly toys.
I know
They're called stuffies.
I need to take the stuffies into my vocabulary. I need to embrace that concept.
Okay. Let's take a look at some of the elements. Sorry.
Yeah, a lot of red boxes there, Ted, on the elements.
Yeah. Now here's the triple Lutz, too far forward. That's considered a fall. And here is a look at the flip. And that is under road. No, they've given it clean. So it looked a little under rotated, but who knows? There's the double axle. And some of the steps. It's just a little rough around the edges. You talked about pointing the toes and the refinement. It's so important. It's not that, I get an extra point if I point my toe, but it gives an overall impression with the body alignment and the detail for the GOE, which is the quality score. It's so important. And this young man is in the stages of learning the skills for sure. Then he's going to need to polish them up a little bit. That free leg should be extended a little bit more, turned out toe, just small details like that, which don't seem important, but overall in the big picture of a career, they are, and you'll learn them. He's only 16.
And I love the smile and the kiss and cry. The judges, when they come for the skating skills, the definition of their skating skills is the ability of the skater to execute the skating movement with blade and body control. So then the posture and the extension could fall into that body control awareness, just an awareness of the whole body, which Mark will continue to develop.
Yeah. As he holds on to the stuffies, Mark.
Stuffies?
Yeah, that's just a North American term for those I know.
Well, Mark is one of the most popular because he's had the biggest stuffies that we've seen so far, so he wins that award. Popularity contest.
Did you ever get stuffies?
I remember we got stuff thrown on. I took mine to children's charity.
That's nice. Yeah, a lot. We do that a lot in Canada. We have a process for that. It's true. It's really good. In my day, they didn't have such things. They just had rocks and stones and things like that.
Throw them on.
Yeah, exactly.
Tomatoes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I saw a few of those. Having to watch 5 minutes, who wouldn't throw a tomato on the ice? Here we go, 40.23 for Mark Kulish from Ukraine, and that'll put him currently into 5th place. There's your top 5 so far. First group done. We get ready for group number 2 to take the ice for their warm-up. Any questions we've got coming in there, Mark?
We, as we see, excuse me, the start order, a brilliant question, and also a really time-sensitive question that has come in, asking us, and I think this question perhaps came in on the back of the discussion that we had with Kirsten Murtars in a pairs event. Do you think that culture now is more sensitive for mental health of skaters compared to your time?
Do I think culture?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I don't know how best to break that down.
I think I think it's a very good question. I don't know if it affects. I think there are different cultures around the world that accept some things and don't accept others. Everybody's a little bit different. I do think word choice is very important. You can be a parent. Because sometimes you have to, say no to your kids, and you have to show them, the right way. And so word choice is very important. Obviously tone as well. I think that what I would say in the past, that there was less care about word choice and less discussion around that. So I think nowadays it has changed. Some countries more than others. I don't know if there's an easy answer, but I do think that people are more sensitive to words matter. Tone matters. And So it's your choice to use what words or what tone you wish. But if you're coaching young people, be smart, be careful, and be caring.
I think that, and that's so, I think, perfect for the athlete. And we spoke obviously with Kirsten Moore-Towers, who, if any of you were joining us for that broadcast, you got the chance to see her performing with, I think, a Grand Prix final where it just showcased some sublimely brilliant skating. But she was very, although she showcased in that video an example of somebody who is undoubtedly one of the very best in the world, in her conversation as a coach, she seemed very, very mindful of the mental health of the athletes. And what we discussed and we agreed upon between Ted, I could sense that our points of view, my ideas, your ideas, Ted, and Kirsten's ideas were all of the same mindset. I know that her care, she acknowledged that she was perhaps, if anything, overcautious in how she treats her young athletes. I share that, but I know that there'll be some skaters and coaches from other cultures who would not believe in that philosophy, and I think that's something that what I believe to be right would not be shared with some other cultures.
Yeah, and I think for Kirsten, don't want to speak for her, but I know her well enough. I think that what she meant was when it comes to the elements, trying the more difficult elements, she is a little bit more cautious with that. I think that she's able to deliver, if one wants to use the word, because I know for myself, I would never have made the World Championship had my coach not, whatever word you want to use, encouraged, pushed, motivated, inspired me to push myself further than I thought that I could do. And if somebody didn't help me discover I could do more, that I could be better, that I could work harder, that I could be more disciplined, then I wouldn't have. I wouldn't know the difference. And so thank gosh that coach showed me the way that I was capable of much more than I thought I was. And it took some verbiage, and I don't mean bad verbiage at all. It wasn't, but that was the 70s. It was a different time, right? So nowadays, is you still as a coach are asked to bring the best out in a skater, in a person, in a child, and so how do you do that? So word choice does matter, and tone does matter. It's just a little bit more complicated, and you're right, cultures are a little bit different. So it's an interesting discussion. I'm sure lots of people listening to this going to have their own opinion and whatnot, and I think we've covered it off. Yeah. So let's move on and get out of here.
Yeah, run while you can, escape the difficult conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There are other questions that are coming in that are requesting our personal opinions and our personal life choices. Ted Barton, what's your favorite way of relaxing? P.S. Love your commentary.
Fishing. I know that sounds just strange, but, well, I love sport. I love sport. I love this sport. I love to watch coaches in the midst of stress at a football game or a soccer game or anything, tennis or whatever. But for me, when I calm, just at peace, is I'm on a river fly fishing in the mountains, surrounded by grizzly bears and wolves, with other people that I can run faster than. So that's where I'm really at peace. It's nothing. I love nature, and I love fishing, and it's catch and release, and that's just something I've always been brought up with, and it's special. I haven't done it for about a year and a half, and when I get home, I'm going to start doing a lot more, that's for sure. So how about you? Where's your happy place?
I'm not very good at relaxing, but I actually...
Yeah, I can tell.
For a few weeks. It's not my forte.
Yeah.
I haven't, because I've been doing the commentary, I haven't skated now for a few weeks, and with every passing week, I think, I'd like to glide. And interestingly, I remember meeting with Shailene Bourne at the World Championships when she was there to help out one of the pair teams in Japan at Saitama last year. And she said that she still now, despite being a world champion and choreographer for so many people, she said that she needs to skate as her outlet, and I actually am conscious that, it's good outlet for me. I need to go do some.
It's very cool. Her husband is a filmmaker, and he filmed her early on, and I'm not sure if they were married at the time, and he did the most beautiful film of her just loving the edge and loving to skate. It was magic. Both her work was magic, and so was his. Here we go. Group number 2. Were you paying attention? What's going on? Here we go. Okay.
I think that is coach Satsuki Muramoto, and I met her in Ostrava or Riga, and she just gives such a positive, welcoming energy to her students.
Wonderful. I saw her earlier this week, and just a classy person. Just wonderful, yeah. Here we go, Mark, sorry.
No, they coach here in Ankara for her student Shunsuke Nakamura, who comes into the event as the potential favorite. Can he live up to the pressure and take the title? Shunsuke Nakamura skates cleanly in Ankara, and this is a skater who's really coming into his own. He won the Japanese Junior National Championships last season in his 7th appearance at Japanese Junior Nationals, and then topped the season off with just a 4th place at the Junior World Championships. This, his last year as a junior, he will be wanting to make a claim for a podium place at Junior Worlds, and certainly to get to the Junior Grand Prix final again.
Yeah, and how interesting would this be up against Jacob Sanchez, and where does that stand? And this young man has a pretty cool program, no question. The elements are pretty good as well, same elements. How well they were done with the GOEs, we'd have to look back. A little higher GOEs for Jacob, I think, as I'm looking at the scores now, but nice triple flip. But boy, when he got the elements done, here he is, just giving that performance 100%. And you hear the audience in the background. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it interesting, because now we're seeing clean skate, so we then have to really pick the details out, and this Backstreet Boys program is brilliant, but the jumps that we did see from Jacob Sanchez had more height and more length. They had more flow out on the landing, and thus that's where he's going to have benefit on the tech score. In terms of the 3 different components for Shunsuke Nakamura versus Jacob Sanchez, think Jacob Sanchez's speed and the skating skills will keep his components higher, even though I think the composition of this program has more consideration.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Both were brilliant, and it'll be close. Sorry, Bart.
Well, I was just going to say, Shunsuke Nakamura had explained that he was wanting to enjoy competing again, and he also said that he was looking forward to skating in Turkey and eating the Turkish food, and I thought, good on you, mate. Let's get your priorities straight. Get out here and enjoy some nice Turkish cuisine.
That's good. The food is awesome here. I mean, I'm not very risque with trying things like, I don't know what that is, but or spice, but the service, the food has been absolutely outstanding, and so has downtown. It's a really, I didn't know what to expect, but I would say this way surpassed what might have expected coming here. So it's been a beautiful community and a beautiful city, and it's not on the coast, but it's still yet beautiful in so many different ways. Let's take a look at the scores for Shunsuke Nakamura from Japan. He's a 75.59. That's the season's best. He had a 68.39 before in his other Junior Grand Prix, but this is better, but not enough. And he finds himself just under 6 points behind Jacob Sanchez of the United States. Doable, for sure. It's going to come down to that free program. That'll be quite the battle. And more to come on this ice right now.
And now to the 15-year-old Oscar Oliver, a really inspiring young man who has his own charity, a Young Heroes campaign. Right now, down to business in regards to the skating. Oscar Oliver, the 15-year-old, opened with a really massive triple Lutz double toe combination. Mistake later on in the triple flip, but a skater that looks like that is the music for him, the energy of the music appropriately interpreted by him. But with that energy, the music was a little unrefined perhaps. The skating at times a little unrefined as well.
Yeah, I thought, you know, I thought he was better tonight than I saw him in practice the other day, and a little bit better posture and whatnot, but still the hands are a little bit, you know, just sort of hanging at the end of the arm. Just small little details like that. I know that sounds critical. It's really analytical because he had just a whomping triple Lutz double toe. Good power. He's looking good here coming down the ice. We'll take a look at this triple Lutz right here. Beautiful. Look how straight it is and tight in the air, low in the knee. Continues that momentum into the double toe loop. That was a beautiful start technically. Double axel, no problem. Again, the arms up. Want to have the head up a little bit. All the body level. There's a triple flip. That was on a lean, and so he had to turn out of that, unfortunately.
And here, as we look at the step sequence, just see how the blade is scratching a little bit, so you can see a little bit of ice plowing up on the backwards turns, and the blade doesn't run quite as much as we saw from the likes of Jacob Sanchez. But this, again, we're really having to nitpick because we've seen two really clean skates so far.
Yeah, no, I think he's pretty happy with that performance, and that was an improvement from the practice sessions from just a posture perspective, but lots of refinement yet to do, lots of polishing, and you know, that's the hardest work because you don't like doing that. You like jumping, like, and maybe spinning perhaps, like step sequences, but the small details that you can't see, but people see, but you don't even feel. So it's hard to connect. You need to do this and go, well, that feels okay to me. Yeah, but you don't get judged by feel. So just those little things that you need to work on, and that can be a bit of a pain. I know because I was told a million times and I never listened. Well, I'm doing that all right. I'm fine. I'm stubborn and not be able to see myself. We didn't really have videotape in those days, so thank God. I probably would have quit if I had to look at myself. You know.
So if you were like Oscar, you were maybe similar to him, whereas I might have had all the refinement, but I never landed my triple Lutz as cleanly and gorgeously as Oscar. So
that's true. That's true. 50.04 for Oscar, and that'll put him currently in 5th place. A handshake to seal the deal, and a pretty good skate.
Time that we saw this next skater in that costume, he had a prolonged wait as there was a error with the system, and Donghan Yu had to have another warm-up, and it was so late at night. This time he comes into his 2nd Junior Grand Prix this year with so much experience gained from Riga.
Yeah, just 14 years old.
Donghan Yu, one of the youngest competitors in the men's event, and although the same mistake as he incurred in Riga at his first Junior Grand Prix, hopefully this whole experience a little bit less traumatic than what he endured before, as his coach runs to greet him ringside.
Yeah, that was more difficult for sure. And this young man, he's a perfect example of a junior that's under development, under construction. There's the triple S, look good. Triple toe look too far back in the heel, and he takes the fall. But look at the positions in the air. The legs are kind of bent. The ankles are not tight together. And this is something that he'll need to work on to be very efficient as he moves towards triple and quads. See how bent the legs are? It makes for a really wonky and slower rotation, and that's problematic as you move along, and particularly as you grow. So I'm sure their coach is going to be working on fixing that up and tightening the position in the air up a little bit.
Yeah, and again, we're in this fortunate position, having seen great skates, of being able to nitpick, and there in that sits behind variation in the sit spin, you can see just a lack of awareness of the shoulder blade muscles just to engage and tighten up, and all of that is the refinement that will really push the grades of execution as his coach feeds back.
Now, Mark, is there a party going on behind us here? I mean, wow, that's loud in there.
The reason will be because the next skater, Mehmet Cenkay Karlikli, represents Turkey, and that is what I remember experiencing in Istanbul last year. When a Turkish skater goes on, the crowd goes nuts.
That's awesome. Let's take a look at the scores for the short program. 54.22 is his personal best. 54.22. Oh, same score is his season's best. He has only a 48.80, and he goes, okay, that's okay for what I did today. That's not too bad. That'll put him currently into 7th place. And get ready for the audio, for the volume to go up right now. There he is.
Well, Mehmet Cenkay Karlikli comes from a skating family. His sister represented Turkey at Junior Worlds 2022, Fatima. And I think she and every member of his family and friends have come to support Mehmet now as he skates an American in Paris by George Gershwin. Cenkay Karlikli, because the reaction to that performance is amazing, and I don't believe he skated at the Junior Grand Prix in Istanbul last year where scenes like this were happening. So this is such a special moment, and stuffies are abundant.
No kidding. Look at all the flags too. Wow.
Amazing.
That's exciting. It's good for the community here. It's good for the sport.
And chanting his name. Gosh, he really is.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Embracing this moment.
Here's the triple Lutz. Watch this. How did he hang on and get that free leg back there to do to the double toe without touching down? That is a miracle on ice. That was amazing.
Yeah.
There's the triple flip. Gets the free leg right into the twizzle. That was well designed or automatically disguised. There you go.
Mehmet did skate similarly in Riga in his first Junior Grand Prix, and so then again now it's a case of the quality of the program component scores and those grades of execution, and the double axel here had some +1s from the judging panel in Riga, and I think it'd be a similar base to +1 here, looking for more height and length, better takeoff and landing to secure higher grades of execution.
Yeah, just sort of grabbed the toe picks a little bit, didn't have as much flow on it, but it was a great takeoff and good flight through the air. And you know, those little details matter. Landing it is one thing, landing it really well is another level. In the old days in skating, it didn't matter how you landed, just the fact that you needed to land it.
And congratulations to coaches Tommy Pulkkinen and Umar, who are really helping in this revolution of Turkish ice skating.
Yeah.
With so many succeeding. And Tommy, the coach, explained that Mehmet is a very clever young man with high academic ambitions, and therefore spends a lot of his time studying. And I kind of got the inference there from Tommy that it's a challenge for him to juggle, and I'm sure the coach obviously wants the athlete to be in the rink more, but it's that balance of academic versus sporting pursuit.
Yeah, you have to admire the athletes doing both scholastics and sport at that level. 48.85, and that'll put Mehmet currently into 6th place. Not easy to skate in front of screaming fans like that. You can think about it all you want, because that does not normally happen, and that had to be intimidating as well.
Well, if only everybody could have the reaction that Mehmet had as Ilia Gogitidze takes to his start position, looking up for some support, skating to by Benjamin Clementine. Ilia Gogitidze, representing France, and a skater that has thanked so profusely the club and honestly for supporting him. He's so grateful to his coaches, and when you get to see Ilia's social media, you see he has a TikTok account dedicated to his ice skating, and you can sense then as the French ice dancers cheer him on, the passion that he has for his sport and his craft and his performance, and we salute that.
Absolutely. Especially when you recognize you get to participate through the benefit of others who are helping you. There's the triple flip, beautiful, and then just over rotates it on the back 3-turn. But the lift was great, the rotation was good. He's the double axle. And rides off the end of the edge. Good lift on that, no problem. Wants to stretch the free leg, point the toes, those small things that Mark likes. Here's the triple toe loop. This is a beauty. Gets the free leg back really early. It's wonderful. Pushes himself straight up. It looks perfect. And then just has that free leg swing a little bit too wide, and that turns him around the corner. Here's some of the steps through the step sequence. You're kind of reaching out in the air. Kind of cool.
Yeah, and this, when it comes to the different component scores the judges have, for me, the presentation of Ilia is his strength. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and he is invested. It's a brilliant piece of music, and
well, we're back in Ankara, 2 power outages, and we're up with the final skater in this group from Canada. John Kim has had to wait quite a while to perform the short right now.
18-year-old John Kim representing Canada. A skater who I've seen landing quad toe and quad salchow on Instagram. Obviously, so much potential for the free skate, but just that big mistake on the triple flip, and an otherwise very impressive debut in the Junior Grand Prix.
Yeah, I was really impressed with this beginning of his program, but he came down the ice with so much speed on that flip and just pounded the pick in. He had way more speed than he normally has. I think he was really excited. He had been skating so well, and he's challenged competitively, but not as a skater. Look at the choreography here. Look at his edges and his speed and his flow, and he's just a beautiful skater, powerful and so talented. He's just trying to find his way in the competitive arena. And this experience, look at the speed of that spin, just amazing. There's a change of edge. This young man has a bright future, but as with every skater, it's finding your happy zone under the stress, under the pressure of the moment. And everybody goes to a bit of a different pathway for that, as we see Jonathan there, his coach, and working with John. And that was good. Unfortunately about the flip, but the rest of his skating skills you can certainly see. I'll take a look at the scores here, if they're alive. Okay, there.
Well, from what I can see, the judges have really embraced the quality of the program component scores, even with that, you know, the triple flip is worth, or depending on the quality, 5 to 6 points. And if you subtract that because of the single that John offered, then adding 6 points to this makes it very competitive.
Well, I think he's going to be pretty happy with his score considering that miss. He'll think the misses certainly took points away. There's no question of that, but he may not recognize the other qualities he has as being appreciated by this panel. His PC's in the 7s. Let's take a look at his reaction on the score. A 71.68, and he's pretty happy with that. So is Jonathan. Puts him currently in a 3rd place, and I think it would have been with that triple flip. That gives him some encouragement and says, young man, you are a really good skater. Keep working at that to deliver at the moment. Well, there it is. We had 2 power outages and some excitement and John Kim's performance now, and now we're going to take another break and hopefully get things organized here. There's a look at the standings. Jacob Sanchez, what an outstanding program. Shunsuke Nakamura, he was also terrific, as well as John Kim, the final skater in that group. We're going to take a short break now. What do you have on the video playback list there, Mark?
Well, you absolutely do not want to go away, because there's an amazing opportunity to have an interview that you conducted, Ted, with Tatiana Malinina and Roman Skorniakov, the parents and the coaches of the current and reigning world champion Ilia Malinin. And then following that interview, there's a chance to listen to the interview of last week's winner in Bangkok of the junior men's event, Yan Hao Lee, who made history in winning the first Junior Grand Prix for a New Zealand skater.
We'll be back right after this. Welcome, everyone. I have the great pleasure of speaking with Tatiana Malinina and Roman Skorniakov. Now, for our viewers, just a bit of background on these two. Other than being the mom and dad of the current men's world champion, Ilia Malinin, you have both had a successful life in figure skating. Tatiana, you were born in 1973, 8th in Nagano Olympics, 4th at the World Championships, and gold medals in NHK Trophy and the ISU Four Continents and the ISU Grand Prix Final. Now, Roman, you were born in 1976, competing in 7 World Championships and 2 Olympic Games. How hard was it in knowing so much about the sport when you had your children did you think consciously, well, okay, we're at the rink, let's get them started in skating, or did they just want to go onto the ice? How did that all get started?
Actually, we opposite. We was thinking when our son was born, we was thinking, oh no, we're not gonna do this anymore, because takes so much time, dedications, a lot of sacrificing, so much hard work, and we thought maybe we want him to experience different life than we had. But this is kind of happened natural. We tried to wait until the last minute to not do that. Unfortunately, well, I don't know, maybe he was making mistakes, but we wait until like he was already like 6.5, when he constantly asked us, can he go on the ice? Can he go on the ice? And then finally we decide, okay, let's do that just for fun. Just like learn how to skate.
Were you kind of hoping that he wouldn't go too much in the competitive skating?
That's exactly right.
I don't think we ever even thought about competing.
Yes.
We just, I mean, we on the rink. He's here. We was okay. Let's get the skates. You know, just let him skate out. He just, and then if we sometimes ask him, "You want to practice?" Like, no, I want to do it by myself. It's like, okay. So he just skate around by himself, and he's like, okay. And then it's kind of cute, you know, small.
So when did you kind of go, uh-oh, he's gonna be good and he's gonna like this? When did that happen?
Again, like I always say, that we never thought about like, oh, he's good or something. We would just, he liked to like bring some music, play some music, and do some kind of programs, and we kind of watch that, and we
Support him, yes.
Yeah, we will kind of enjoy that. He just create his own programs, do his stuff. It was like, that's so cool, you know, so cute. And it was like, okay, and then it was okay, we need to, you know, teach him, you know, this and that. He tried to learn different things, and so then it ended up into this. So.
Somehow.
You know, what type of advice would you give to young parents who love their children unconditionally and want only the best for them in a very difficult sport? I don't mean just physically. It's a difficult sport mentally and psychologically and emotionally.
I think it's all about the kids, of course. Like if you can introduce, the parents can introduce the kids to, you know, skating. If sometimes kids wants to learn that too, and if they want to, then I think parents need to be supportive of the child to, you know, if they want to do this skating, so they just have to be supportive. And for next, I think they have to be patient.
That's the first thing that you
probably I mean, in anything, you just have to be patient and wait, but at the same time, you have to work hard.
This is very difficult sport, like you mentioned. So it takes so much work, dedication, sacrificing, a lot of things. And of course, support from parents, from coach, from other. And my advice would be patient, because sometimes the first time, second time, 3 times, whatever, 5 times, they was feeling like they failure. But your dedication and hard work, it will take you if you want to be there. So if you continue doing and trying over and over and over, that's what I keep telling to my students. Never give up, because give up, you can always give up. Like anytime you wanted to stop, you can stop. But if you want to achieve your goal, you have to continue trying until you get it. So that's, I would say that's my advice will be.
So you felt the anxiety as a parent watching your children compete, obviously. Tatiana, first to you, when you watch Ilia or your daughter skate, what are the feelings that go through your heart and your mind?
In the beginning, I said, we didn't planning to do this professionally. We just was supporting him, like, because he likes to do this. So on the beginning, we was not really nervous. Yeah, I was just watching and like enjoyed what he can do. When he started doing this more professionally, I became more nervous, and I feel like as soon as I get nervous, he feel that. So I try to kind of step back. So I support him and I train him here on our rink, but I try to not travel because I feel like we have some strong connections. And as soon as I get nervous, he feel that. So maybe some of the parents I would make advice as well. Sometimes they make so much impact on the children's during the competition that's affect them a lot. So I think they need to trust more coaches to do that job. And step back as a parent. But if
Yeah.
they has a successful skate of the kids during the competition, they have to be so happy for them and like cheer for them and like support them. But if they for some reason didn't do that well on the competition, they need to support them as well and just like tell them this is just happening right now. It's gonna get much better. So you just wait and like that's my advice will be.
I remember some of the competition when he was younger, like a juvenile, like when he was 10. I remember that I would get really nervous, or it was kind of scary for me too. Like I always remember, like he goes to his first double lutz. Remember, I almost like passed out. Yes, it was hard. But then I guess you kind of get used to it a little bit. But now I'm just there to support him and try to do whatever he needs at that moment or at that place or the time. So I just trying to be there for him.
I mean, what a perfect team that you are with your kids, and not only your own children, of course, but your other skaters as well. We very, very much appreciate you spending this time with us and helping maybe perhaps some of the parents who have skaters on the Junior Grand Prix or in the Grand Prix or just starting to compete. We thank you so much for your advice. And we wish you the very best, Ilia and the family, the very best this year coming up. So thank you so much for joining us here on the Junior Grand Prix.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here in Bangkok, Thailand, with the men's champion, the very first skater from New Zealand to ever win a Junior Grand Prix titles. Congratulations, Yan Hao Lee. Absolutely outstanding. How do you feel right now?
I feel very excited. Happy to like meet all my friends here, and the experience here was very, very worth it.
Well, your short program was absolutely picture perfect. This was an amazing, and it's one of my must-see moments, the short program, of course. But going into the free program, did you feel a little bit more pressure having to skate last?
Yes, I really hate skating last, so this is quite nervous to me. But I think I was able to like handle the pressure and like skate a satisfactory performance.
Well, skating last in the free program means you're sitting first after the short, so it can't be that bad. But it's one of the things, the experiences that you need to learn. Now, back in New Zealand, do you feel that this is going to help young skaters, be proud of what you have accomplished here and maybe get more people involved in the sport?
Yes, this is like definitely an inspiration to all the skaters in New Zealand. And currently you have a lot of upcoming skaters, so I feel like this could be like a way to inspire them to improve and aim for higher.
Now tell me a little bit about your coach, Pascal, because she's done such an amazing job over the years and she's guided you all the way along. Tell me what's special about her.
I've been with Bess since 2017, so I've been training with her like ever since, and she has done a lot for me, and yeah, I think all the experiences, all the results here can't be done without my coach.
It's fantastic work that you've both done together. Is there anything you would like to say to your folks back home or to your friends back home or to your fellow skaters back home?
Thank you to all the spectators. Thank you to my family, my coach. Thank you to like all the people back in New Zealand. It was really great having you guys support me along the way. Thank you.
The very first champion on the Junior Grand Prix from New Zealand, Yan Hao Lee. What an outstanding skater he is. everyone, to Ankara, Turkey. The group number 3 on the ice in the men's short program. We are in the final event on day 1. It's always funny, Mark? Mark's joining us from Nottingham, and it's always funny. Day 1 seems really long, but today went pretty quick. Like, I feel pretty fresh.
I completely agree. It's really interesting because this is, 12-hour day of commentary, and yet I have to hazard a guess that perhaps the fact that we had Kirsten Moore-Towers, who was so brilliant, that was wonderful. And the women's event started with some really great skating, and so I think that has just helped to elevate the energies for all throughout the day.
Yeah, I think you've kind of nailed it there. And, Kirsten brings such energy, positive energy, to the broadcast. I love working with her. And it's funny when she says she feels that she's a real rookie coach and she's got a lot to learn. Everybody has a lot to learn. So I give her on that. But she's not a rookie coach. That is one very smart, very intuitive coach and skater as well, and very honest. But she chooses her words beautifully and in her honesty, and so I think she's just a natural at probably anything that she would do, because she's a competitor as well. You saw that in her skating career, so she's really brilliant to work with, and we're very lucky to have her on our side of the country.
And I think the fact that somebody acknowledges that they've got lots to learn, that in itself is just so incredible. And perhaps when there's the there's the statement that being a good skater doesn't constitute being a good coach, I think, whilst I don't necessarily always agree with that statement, I can agree in part with that statement. I think that if somebody has had huge success as a skater and then thinks that they could immediately become a good coach, that's where the failing may be, when somebody doesn't recognise that it's a different ethos sometimes, and a very different demands of the job, body, human depending.
You don't realize as a skater when you turn to coach is that the only tool that you have are words. And if your vocabulary and then the choice of those words doesn't match the situation, what the situation needs, then it's really hard being a coach. So you just keep pounding the same message. And so when we say words matter and tone matters, it's true. So the ability to understand what that athlete needs at the moment in regards to communication is very important. So that's the skill of coaching, because that's it. You got words and you have eyes. So your eyes translate what you see into words, into the communication with the athlete. And it's complicated at times, and some people just don't have that skill.
And it's interesting because the conversation with Kirsten was so very vocally about the importance of the mental health. Yeah. It's interesting to just consider now we see so many of the same coaches producing elite skaters, so that we regularly see the same faces at the side of the rink, season upon season, decade upon decade. But I wonder how many of them have the athletes with the happiest mental health. How many of those coaches that, it's not necessarily something that we see on our screens when we come to comment on the skating, but how many of them create the truly most positive, happy humans? And that would be an interesting... Yeah,
no, it's an interesting discussion, but there's moments where you may have the happy health at the moment, but later on, when you look back in your career, you say, well, I wasn't happy, because times change, things change in life, and whether it's school or whether it's home life or whether it's your sport life or whether it is just relationship life, all that kind of stuff. So it can change how you feel about life at that moment, but it may not be skating, or it might be skating. You don't know, right? So it's way more complicated than the simplistic term of, mental health is all about the sport. It's not. It's about life, and with the sport or without the sport. So, but the fact that people talk about it and are aware of it and are more aware of word choice and communication and finding that right balance for the athlete. And I would say on the athlete's part, when you're a certain age, you have a responsibility also to communicate, because if a person doesn't know what you feel and what you think, then what can they do? So they're going to try to read you, but you need to help them help you by communication. So word choice and communication is important on both sides of the fence, that's for sure. But not easy for younger kids, of course. It's a little Stefan Ambiel there. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, it's interesting because with Stefan, I can reference then with Stefan being told there's a British pair skater, Luke Digby, is currently just competed at the Neville Horn Trophy, and he was telling me, I worked with him a tiny bit this year, and it came up conversation about Stefan because he worked with him previously a little bit, and he explained that Stefan showcased the most incredible awareness of him as a human. He had an injury, Stefan went to the hospital, Stefan continued to check up on him, and this is a skater who wasn't a world champion, who wasn't, you know, a name that Stefan could be seen supporting, just a showcasing of a real support of the human. And so, you know, how great to then, I can at least corroborate as we talk about the support of the humans, that there's a coach rinkside who does that. I'm sure they all do it, but I've heard an example of it live.
In any family, whether a family or corporate family or sport family, take care of every family member the best that you can. It's a lot of work, but it's also what makes life wonderful. You know, working with people, helping people. And as we see right now on the boards, you know, coach helping to encourage the skater. And here we go. Take it away, Mark.
And certainly the audience will do all they can to encourage this skater, Efe Ergin Dincer, who came second at the Turkish Junior National Championships this past season. And he will skate to music by Carmen, or from Carmen. Well, 2021 Efe Ergin Dincer competed in the Junior Grand Prix in Austria. He then had another Junior Grand Prix experience in 2022. Didn't compete on the circuit last year, but this surely will be the most memorable as you see these amazing scenes for the 18-year-old who was born in this very city.
Yeah, you know, you stand at center ice and you see that and you're in the moment, but you don't quite can't appreciate the moment in the moment. It's only after when you maybe look back at the video, go, wow, that was that was pretty impressive of all those people cheering for you. Let's take a look at some of the elements in the short program. There's the double axel. That was just beautiful.
Yeah.
Flew off the entrance edge, covered the ice. Oh no. That's. I just pushed the wrong button. I pushed clear the list. It's okay. No,
Well,
my
I would
fault.
say-
My fault, folks. My fault. I just pushed clear the list, so we're not going to see the replays. I'm so sorry about that.
Oh,
There's a lot of buttons
I
on
would
my
say,
panel.
though, you've had a long day. You've had a lot to do.
Oh no, that's
I would say
embarrassing.
the double axel. I would say his double axel would be worth. I would go so far as to say a +4 because it had
Yeah.
good height, good length, good takeoff, good landing. It was musical. It had the difficult entry from the spread eagle. I thought that was real quality.
Yeah, it was beautiful. And the triple Lutz double toe was good as well. Triple flip a little bit later in the program. There's an edge, attention to the edge, takeoff. All the elements are in the plus GOEs, which is great. That's adding to the score. Now he's a 51.05 personal best. So will he come close to that? We'll find out in just a few moments. And once again, I want to apologize to the viewers for pushing the big bright white button that says clear playlist that I shouldn't be pushing, but I did. What can you do? What can you do? I got through almost 4 weeks without making that mistake, so.
At least Efe Ergin Dincer won't. He shouldn't mind anything after what he's just experienced with
Well-
the adoration of the people here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, 51.38. It's a pretty good score. That's his personal best score so far, and that'll put him currently into 7th place. He's just sort of taking that in, thinking maybe I could have done, or maybe that should have been, or I'm not sure. Not a lot of expression there.
And now to Dimitri Rudenko, who competed in Ostrava Czech skate. He explained to me that he was very nervous for that competition, but has been working hard to show better here. Dimitri Rudenko from Slovakia. And actually, his short program when he competed in Ostrava was more successful insofar as he didn't have to fall on the triple flip. But here he did seem to perform more. Interestingly, Ted, am I going nuts? Because I thought he did triple Lutz double toe, but there's a triple Lutz triple toe that went in the system.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And that'll be interesting to see when they do the read back. And they'll read back those elements, whether that gets changed.
Or maybe indeed I was...
There's
We'll
a triple
see
Lutz, double toe.
Yeah. Oh, it's changed. It's just changed.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
I was thinking Dimitri was going to benefit from an extra rotation on the triple toe.
Had that happen early on in the judging system and in a world championship, it didn't happen, and we got it, but it was close, and they didn't have the safeguards they do now. So, yeah.
Scary. You can see there from the step sequence that Dimitri, and even here now, he is invested so much so that he's struggling to hold the finish position, or maybe that's the disappointment of the flip mistake. Who knows? Chance to see now the moments on the ice for the next skater as Dimitri now seen in the kiss and cry. Michael Matloch listed as the coach.
Let's take a look at the short program scores for Dimitri. A 47.66, that'll put Dimitri currently into 12th place.
And the next skater onto the ice, Ean Weiler. He relocated to Champéry and now working with Stéphane Lambier since May of this year. Ean Weiler just showcasing such class. If we talk about refinement, that was absolutely a demonstration of it.
Yeah.
He, as I said, moved his training base to work with Stefan Lombia, but he acknowledged that he wouldn't be the skater he is without the coach of 6 years, Ekaterina Zanta, and I think that's so wonderful that whilst he's now working with an illustrious, celebrated two-time world champion, he still acknowledges where he's come from.
Yeah, and when we talk about refinement a lot, about the skaters who may not have that refinement yet, this young man does all the way, from pointed toes and beautiful posture, wonderful run of the blade, every move has an elegance to it and a class to it. There's the triple lutz, triple toe loop, great patience between the two. This is such a better skate than what I saw in the practice session, and a great save on that triple flip, pulling that free leg back so quickly to stabilize that landing. And here's some of the steps: arm movements, head movements, upper body, weaving in and out and across the ice. Just a wonderful fabric of movement.
And interestingly, you know, talking of fabric, he acknowledged that the short program costume was made by Satoma Ito, and just acknowledging even his gratitude to the costume maker as well. And it looks, I don't know, and excuse my ignorance here, but it looks like something Shoma Uno may wear, maybe the same designer that has worked with some of Stefan's other students, but certainly, obviously, an appreciation of every aspect of the aesthetic.
Yeah, what class, you know, that's for sure. And this young man at the age of 17, he's going to gain more strength. He has the technique, perfect, just beautiful. He has the flow and the speed and the choreography. So much more to come as Stefan weaves his magic with this young skater. 67.93, that will be fourth so far in the short program. And there we see the score, and congratulations from Stefan. First step of the Junior Grand Prix. Brilliant.
And a big high 10 from coach Laura Fernandez for Andre Zapata, the Spanish skater from Madrid. And his short program, I'm told, is inspired by 1920s parties.
Wow, that could get wild. Here we go.
Andre Zapata, the Spanish skater in Ankara, just shrugs his shoulders, but at least so does with a smile as he looks towards his coach. And a skater that explained to me that they had no ice for 5 weeks, presumably in the summer off season, so limited resources, but all the support from the other members of the Spanish team as he leaves the ice towards his coach.
Yeah, and it's great that you do this research as part of the story so that we can tell the folks that, hey, this skater's, you know, it's not an even playing field. They don't have resources or the ice rink, and that puts things in perspective a little bit as we take a look at the triple Lutz, gets it around quickly. Triple toe-lip was really nice. That was well done. There's the triple flip, step out. And you can see also the hands here. Here's where we talk about refinement, and loses his balance there going in, Mark.
What a shame, because he'd done the difficult entry, one of the features that most people are using this year as we see the double axel, so the intention for the sit spin was obvious to the technical panel, but nothing for them to call, so no value at all, so loses about 3 points there. And I think we just saw him struggling through with the last turn, the combination of turns in the step sequence, a twizzle, so I think he would lose also that feature. So some which are relatively easy elements he's lost some levels on, so hopefully there'll be quick fixes that he can make his coaching staff towards
he just lost a little control there and made some small slips. I think that next time out, and as the season progresses, he's going to be much more in control. More run-throughs, of course, that's always going to help you. No question. Let's take a look at the short program scores for Andre Zapata from Spain. Not bad, 51.51. They're pretty happy with that score, as that puts him currently into 8th place.
And now to 14-year-old Denis Krouglov, a skater who has grown over 10 centimeters in the last year since we saw him on the Junior Grand Prix a season ago. Denis Krouglov, I so enjoy and appreciate the freedom of his skating and the speed. His coach had explained that he loves watching Formula One, so that gives you an indication as the kind of thrill-seeking speed lover that he is.
Yeah, I really
reflected in the skating skills.
I agree with you, Mark. He skates free and open, and that, although that brings an element of risk, it also brings an element of joy and freedom to not only the viewer but to him as a skater as well. And when he learns to control every detail and expands more in his movement, it's going to be even better. This is going to be a triple act, so he can do it. I think you're right, Mark. I think he planned to pull back on that here in the short. There's the Lutz. And how he got the triple toe loop down, that's just through strong back and patience. And here's the triple flip and the fall right into the boards. But didn't really let that destroy the rest of the program, Mark.
No, and actually the judges have got his skating skills in the low fives. I think I'd go higher than what the panel are going with. I think that his flow and glide is good. His coach had referenced that, you know, as I mentioned at the top, that he has grown such a lot over the last year. And whilst you know, it's a great physique on the ice, but when you have that giant growth spurt, that's when your balance and your core can change. And it looked like that triple flip was a prime example of that, a skater who isn't quite comfortable with the rotational position.
Yeah, and you can see him in the kiss and cry. He's got his things in perspective here. He knows the mistake he made. He knows what he did well, and he's having a good conversation with his coach. And I think he's pretty alert and pretty aware. He's just 14, which is hard to believe. Like, wow, that's amazing. That's a lot of abilities and talent at a young age, and maturity already. Some maturity already.
Yeah, and I hope that alongside his coach Leslie Ann Stewart that he can come forward and he can be in the Belgian skater getting a medal in the Junior Grand Prix, because I think he has that potential. And we, you know, obviously we saw from New Zealand, we've seen Estonians this year, we've seen French skaters in the women's event, different skaters from different nations. I think this has certainly the potential alongside his coaching team to do that. Just perhaps it's a year of less growth.
Yeah, and I think there's a number of skaters in the women's we saw today and in the men's as well that can grab the podium, but it means they have to do their best at the moment they need to produce in competition, and that is the challenge. They learn the skills, they have the freedom, they got the skating skills, they've got all the things they need, but it's competition, and it depends on who gets the pluses in competition and who gets the minuses. If you take a step down because of nerves or whatever, or you take a step up. So that's another step to learn. 48.53 for Denis, and that will put him currently into 14th place. Love watching this young man skating. Bright career, lots of work to do, no question, but it's all there. Final skater in this group.
What an excitement it was for us to see this skater who competed in Ostrava Czech skate. Lucaz, Filipe, Trindade, Candria. We acknowledge the tininess of the rink that he trains on. I also know that he travels on a bus after school on a Friday by 2.5 hours up to train and returns home on Sunday night. So only able to skate at the weekend, but a talented one nonetheless. Lucaz, Filipe, Trindade, Candria representing Brazil. And I was trying to scramble in before his performance just some of the backstory about this Brazilian skater who we acknowledged when he competed before that he trains in this tiny ice rink. But not only that, he lives 2.5 hours away from said tiny ice rink. And he's been with the coaches now since he was 13. And Chris Garcia, his coach, sent me a PowerPoint presentation of the Arts and Sports Academy they run in Gramado. And she explained as we watched the playback of Lucas that the roller skating in Brazil at their national championships, as we see this step out of the double axel for Lucas, has 1,500 competitors at their national championships. It's a huge sport in popularity in Brazil. Here the triple salto into double toe. Well done. And she and the team that so passionately run the figure skating in the tiny ice rink there are looking for funding for a bigger ice rink to make ice skating as popular as roller skating is in Brazil. And for us to see what they've done with Lucas here, that's testament to how hard and how inspired they are to promote the sport there. And if they had better facilities, who knows what they could produce.
Yeah, and Lucas was my must-watch moment in his last Junior Grand Prix because he skated really a clean, free program with a number of triple jumps, and he skates on a rink that is really the size of our production room almost, with a post in the middle type of thing. So it is remarkable that he has learned to do what he does as well as he does it in such small facilities. So congratulations to him, and how wonderful would it be if he had a large rink to be able to train in? What type of skater would he be? As we take a look, it's the season's best, 36.92 for the short program. And that put Lucas currently in his 17th place. So second Junior Grand Prix improvement in the short program. Skated a great free program last time out. And hope he has another successful free in another day. Wow. Great story. So we get on to the final warm-up here on day one. We can see the end. And wondering, Mark, if we have any other questions, as we have one more Turkish skater on the ice, will create a ruckus in the stands. Any other comments? Questions?
Yes, so we've had some requests on predictions for leaders in the Grand Prix season. I'm not sure if it's actually for the Junior Grand Prix or their Senior Grand Prix, or is it too early for predictions of the champions?
So you're not sure if it's junior or senior?
Not sure if it's for junior or senior. I think certainly if it was for junior, I think at this stage, after this event, we can confirm we're past the halfway point. So we're likely to have seen most of the competitors, unless anybody's saving their 2 events for the final 3 stops on the Junior Grand Prix. So we're starting to get an indication.
Yeah, I think Mao Shimada, you've got to give a nod to Mao for sure. In the women's, men's is still up for debate. As I said, there was only one in this event that actually has points at this stage of the competition, or this series, and but Jake Sanchez certainly looks good, and so does DeRoche and Thrasher in Canada, but they still got a free program to go. So it's hard to sort of make. I would say at the end of this, we'll have a much better idea. But yeah, I don't want to make any predictions. I guess just cut to the chase. Yeah, no, not yet.
Yeah, but no. I think that's the thing in the juniors, because obviously they're still earlier in their development, so their variability is much more increased. We're more used to the consistency of seniors to make stronger predictions. But even then, within the seniors, it's interesting. And I referenced last week the Lombardia Trophy, which was the first stop in the Challenger Series. Now the Nebelhorn Trophy in Oberstdorf, Germany, is taking place right now. And it's interesting to see, because there may be some changes of the guard. We may see some chopping and changing as the events get underway. The women's event there is just underway. Madeleine Schizas, the former Canadian champion, has just posted a score of 60.61 with her shot program.
Okay. And any other questions?
What more questions are, one of them which I think I know the answer, I heard the answer for you, Ted, just recently. Did you take any dance classes during your career?
had some really funny stories with the dance classes, which I absolutely will not replay. Tell the stories now. Maybe to you. But yeah, I took ballet. Was I good at it? No. But it really made a difference for me. It totally made a difference for me as a skater. It's probably why I made the World Championship and why I had improved. So, yeah, and jazz and stuff too. But I was kind of an inhibited person. I still am. It doesn't sound like it because I talk, but a little bit more shy, a little bit more reserved. And so it was hard to, especially at that stage in that era, to really express yourself on the ice as much as they do now. So, but we did take dance classes, and I'm most certain you did, Mark.
Well, it's interesting. I think I always probably should have taken dance classes, but it was only till much later, when I was about 19, that I started. There was an amazing lady. She was called Tatiana Wood. I think she's remarried now, so I'm not sure of her surname, but she was a former Bolshoi dancer, principal ballerina, and she had fallen in love with an Englishman, and she relocated to the UK, and so she used to take dance classes, and I think her ethos just revolutionized my appreciation for movement and that body awareness that you see from the dancers. And for me, in terms of questioning us about dance classes, we've spoken on this Junior Grand Prix series about comparison with other sports, and we've acknowledged that ice skating surely has to be one of the most complex and intricate. And whilst it's not another sport, when I look at some of the world's best ballet dancers, I see such unbelievable body awareness and physicality that I think it is just as athletic as any Olympic discipline.
No question. And I would say, if I went back into my coaching career, that one of the things I would make mandatory in the group of kids, if they wanted to be competitive, would be in the beginning as much off ice in dance as on ice, because if they have that strong body core and they understand how to rotate on the ground and in the air off the ice, and when they get on the ice, you will not have to spend 7 months teaching something that will be learned very, very quickly, because the basic body awareness and positions are there. So the investment that you make in skating through ballet or other dance classes is money well spent.
And it's interesting because as we're watching the men's event, as a vast generalization, the men do tend to be more excited or interested, as probably the women do too, with jumping and spinning, and sometimes it's a harder sell to get the young men to want to take ballet class, and that I can completely understand, I can comprehend why that is the case, but certainly if you get a good teacher that can engage them and make them want to do it, then it can have such a massive impact, as you say.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, what else you got there?
The next question that I have coming in, what's one moment in your career that impacted you most as a skater?
Wow, that's a good question. I don't remember exactly the words, but I remember the lesson and the person who gave it to me. He's passed away. His name was Brian Powers, and he chose the words so perfectly to explain to me what I physically needed to do in order to execute what I thought I couldn't do. It was a defining moment. I thought, oh my God, if I could do that, and I didn't think I could, what else could I do? And that opened up the doors for me. So, yeah. There's my story, and they're getting off the ice. So let's carry on here. So,
hey.
final group in the men's short program, final event, day one. Mark?
And to open this group, a 15-year-old born and living in Sofia in Bulgaria, Deyan Mihaylov, who will skate to the path of silence. Well, Dan, I haven't seen him do triple loops, triple toe. He didn't use that combination last year, so the most heavily weighted element that he's done in competition thus far. So that an achievement for the skater who rotates in the air at an incredibly quick pace.
Yeah, we were mentioning that. Let's take a look. You're going to watch in slow motion, but watch how efficient he is getting off the ice and into rotation. Here's the, I'm going to slow it right down here. Here's the triple flip. Watch how quickly he folds into that tight rotation position, kids. But watching this, young skaters, it's amazing. And that, if you learn that, you're going to have triples coming out very easily. There's the flip right into tight rotation, ankles together, and up into the toe loop, same thing. Didn't get very high.
No.
But he still made it work.
Chin in as well.
Yeah, you're right. He does. Elvis Stojko used to lift it.
Yeah. Hey, works for him.
Absolutely. The party's starting behind us here. Next
oh my
skater.
goodness, the ruckus.
Yeah.
So, Deyan did compete at the Junior World Championships in Chinese Taipei, but didn't make the cut for the free skate. Top 24 go through to the free skate at ISU Championships. And so that, I'm sure, will be a big focus for Deyan and his team coach, Daniela Velishkova.
Well, his personal best is 48.03, and I think he's going to like the score. He showed some nice qualities, and those jumps were pretty quick and good quality, good technique. They need to be a little bit bigger, a little bit more air, a little bit more speed. That'll come in time. He's just 15 years old, so lots of time to continue growth in that area. But this could be a new personal best. It's the first time out this season. We'll see if he ends up going to Gdansk next week or on to Wuji. I would not imagine Wuji, but
he's actually listed for Ljubljana, so he has a nice
Ljubljana.
week of training. Yeah.
You're taking that
you're
one.
not going.
That's because I'm not going.
Yeah.
52.97 is the score for the short program. They look pretty happy with that, and that'll put him in 8th place. Nice.
Well, the next skater is going to be greeted by the most incredible support. It's already rumbling around the arena as Ege Ilter gets ready to compete. It will be his 18th birthday this Sunday. Can he celebrate competing on home soil with this the start of his Junior Grand Prix campaign here?
When you're used to a very quiet rink to run your program, and then you have this, it's be a little unsettling. Here we go.
Game. And the 17-year-old Ege Ilter benefiting from the opportunity to skate here as one of the host nation picks. And he was able to give us an insight into some of the support that the Turkish skaters have. They had a summer camp in Istanbul with Florent Amodio and former world champion Javier Fernandez. And that's something that obviously stood out as a highlight for this skater. And a confirmation of all the opportunities and support that are happening for the Turkish skaters.
Yeah, they're doing such a great job in building a community and building young skaters as well. And now they've got that practice rink now opened. So it's not just one rink here in Ankara. They have two, which is great. And they have a number of other rinks around the country. And so I think this sport is grabbing a foothold in this country and gaining some momentum. Take a look at the triple flip, under rotated, and 2 falls in the program as we see the double axel a little bit later. And that was done. A little scratchy on the landing. That back camel, or any camel for a guy, is always a little bit more challenging. Unless you've taken those ballet classes to get the flexibility early on in your life.
And for Ege, he's competed at the Bosphorus Cup, which has been held in Istanbul. He's competed at Ephesus Cup in Izmir. But this, although in his home country, it's a different level of competition. And so hopefully this experience, as he's joined by his coaches in the Kiss of Cry, will be a real opportunity that he will embrace to be alongside the likes of Jacob Sanchez and Shunsuke Nakamura.
Yeah, and to watch them and practice with them and say, okay, what's the difference here? Yeah, they go faster, they jump bigger, but maybe I can as well, and get inspired to begin to test yourself and push yourself a little bit to see what you're capable of. And we'll take a look at the scores.
Good to see.
Yeah. Good work with the coaches, and you want to encourage them to, you know, be proud of what they're doing, but to want more, and know and help them know that they're capable of it. But it's a journey of discovery. You have to go through these moments. All the judges' scores are almost all in, just shy of 2. We can track all of this. And we see the screen come in. Go ahead, Mark.
Well, just an analysis of what Ege has done here. He hasn't landed triple flip cleanly in competition yet, hasn't attempted triple loops in competition. So that just gives us an insight into where he's at. And so being forced to do the triple flip today is another step.
Exactly. 37.34 for Ege, and that will put him currently into 18th place.
I like the laughter. And now to 14-year-old Janis Znotins, who competed in Riga in his home country. And he will be performing to music by the band Måneskin, who he loves for both their energy and interaction with the audience. Let's see if he can assimilate some of that expression in his own performance here. 14-year-old Janis Znotins, his second short program on this season's Junior Grand Prix, and this one more successful, I think, than that in Riga. He had -5 GOE from all the judges on the triple flip at that event. And although it wasn't perfect here, much better for his second jumping past the flip in the short program today.
Nice. Certainly has a lot of athleticism. The refined technique is not there yet, but he's strong enough. It's good enough, and he's strong enough to make these jumps work. He's going to want to tighten up in the air, straighten up, back, posture, all those types of things like that. But boy, he's athletic. Look at how quickly he gets in the rotation. He's a little hunched in the shoulders, but he's strong enough to make it all work. As we come around to the triple flip, he gets it down, he gets it done, right? It's not necessarily pretty yet, but he gets it done, and that's what you need. You need that base core to have the element and then refine it.
Yes, it's so interesting to just see the different approaches from the different skaters and their coaches, because great that, as you say, Janis has got the job done the triple flip. How can he now lengthen the takeoff? How can he make it elongate and move forward to keep pushing that grade of execution? The positives, not negatives.
The big question is not how he can do it. I think the coach knows how he can do it. It's whether he wants to do it, because you have to want to do something in order to learn how to do it, right? And I think that comes with age and experience and a certain stage of development. Let's take a look at the scores. Short program, he has a
46.63 last time.
Yeah.
Oh, I beat you to it, Ted, sorry.
No, nicely done. Well, just get right in there, will you? Season best, 50.44. Got you on that one. And that'll put him currently in 11th place. So good improvement on that short program score. He has to be pleased with that.
So the second Korean man to compete in Ankara. Good to see that. Applause for himself, trying to energize and elevate himself. Hyunseo Park. And he will skate to La Bohème. Hyunseo Park, representing Korea. A skater that had some passionate interpretation to La Boheme, and the music requires it. And Hyunseo finished 5th at the Korean Junior Grand Prix qualification event, 5th of the 5 men. And here we see good sense of flow and glide as he prepares for the combo. Triple Lutz was huge and manages just about to get the triple toe done, but a lack of rotation in the second part of the combination. Triple flip, the way in which the body pitches forwards forces a negative creative execution, but double axel, the best quality of the 3 jumping passes for Hyunseo, and that Inabara entry should help give him an extra boost on the tech score. And this, the change foot combo spin, the jump between the spins. Some of the features that the skaters are being forced to use this season, they cannot have more than 2 variations of position in any one spin, and that's why we're seeing so many of these different features being used this season. And Hyunseo Park comes from the nation with a junior world champion, so the Korean Figure Skating Federation had more potential representation on the Junior Grand Prix as a result of McHugh's win at Junior World Championships, because the allocations per nation are dependent upon the results of the Junior World Championships. But only 5 men competed at that Korean Junior Grand Prix qualifying event, and thus not all the spots were taken. And Hyunseo will compete again. He will be in Wuxi in China, the final stop, the 7th of 7 on the Junior Grand Prix.
And that will be an interesting competition and place in the world to visit. I've been to China many times, in Harbin and Beijing, but never to the city of Wuxi. And that will be our final stop. And I think, Mark, at some point between then and the Grand Prix final, we hope to do a little wrap-up of the Junior Grand Prix series. Let's take a look at the scores, the short program. Hyunseo Park, 59.17. Not a bad score, a little bit of a nod of approval there, and that'll put him currently in 7th place. He's certainly got some nice connection with the music. If you want to compete right at the top, you're going to need that triple axel. Sorry, Mark, go ahead.
Well, it always humors me when the skater tries to escape and the coach has to.
Yeah, but that happens. That happened with a coach one time. Remember, the skater pulled him back down. Yeah.
And now to Jedidiah Lincoln, skating to "My Body Is a Cage" by Peter Gabriel, the 19-year-old born in Reading, in his final season on the Junior Grand Prix. Well, Jedidiah Lincoln, just a little late on the music, but for me, Ted, because I obviously know some of the skaters better than others, I remember seeing Jedidiah skating as a real beginner skater, skating in domestic events within the UK, and it's fascinating to see the development of the athlete, and he will be disappointed, of course, with the mistake on the flip, but if you go on Instagram and follow him, you'll see British Ice Skating posted a throwback Thursday of him from some of his first steps on the ice right through to present day, and just the metamorphosis of the athlete into this triple toe skater is amazing to see.
Yeah, and actually it's some really nice presence on the ice as well. The height on that triple Lutz, and I don't know how he squeaked that triple toe loop out, but he did. So strong. And here is a look at that pop flip mispick. You saw his toe pick actually slip a little bit on the ice, and that's invariably going to end up in a single. And the double axel, great lift in the air. Want to maybe tidy that up a little bit in the air. Good spinner, nice positions, nice back camel there. Turnover. And some flexibility as well. And here's some of the steps, Mark.
Yes, and when you know Florent Omodio is on the choreography, then you can expect to see passionate interpretation and lots of energy as showcased here by Jedidiah. And step sequence coming in at a level 3, that will be the push for level 4. Florent's so renowned for his work within great step sequences. As we see the back step spin, the end of the change foot sit spin, and that difficult exit just tailing out the music. And Javi Fernandez, I think, just talking about the tap for the flip takeoff. Javi and Florent, Jedidiah's regular coach, working together doing skate camps and doing skate camps even in this country, having done one in the summer in Istanbul.
Nice. That's great, having past champions and classy skaters and gentlemen, of course, as well, helping to coach the next generation, or at least inspire.
And it's not always the case that world champions then turn to coaching our sport as their career path, so it's great that the likes of Florent and Javi are doing that and giving back, and what great characters they both were.
Yeah, terrific. As we take a look at the short percent scores for Jedidiah Lincoln, 52.26, and Jedidiah goes, okay, that's not too bad. That's okay. That'll put him currently in 10th place. Here's a look at your leaderboard. Still Jacob Sanchez, Shunsuke Nakamura, and John Kim from Canada, with one skater to come. But this skater is from Hungary. Go ahead, Bart.
And that final spot of the day is reserved for 17-year-old Aleksei Vlasenko. We saw him in Riga. He was 22nd at that competition, hoping for more in Ankara. Aleksei Vlasenko completes his short program, and I think a stronger performance than that in Riga. I've just got to acknowledge, Ted, that many of the skating fans will know Alexei's brother Alexander competes as well. Alexander, I kept seeing him in Riga at the event, and I kept thinking, I know that guy. Why? He came not only to support his brother, but to help with the organization and running of the event. So as we see this triple Lutz double toe, that just shows what well-mannered, well-brought-up boys, both Alexei and Alexander.
And their mom was a volunteer in Budapest last year, and I met her. What a wonderful family, classy all the way, both on and off the ice, and generous in their time. We thank them and all the volunteers for all that they do for these events.
And maybe it's because Alexander's brother Alexei is here that you kind of are a bit more appreciative of other people in the sport. But to hear of skaters that are current skaters volunteering to help is just a humbling, impressive story.
Well, we have our team, our BC team, volunteers at our summer skate competition. They all get involved, so we want them to not only reap the benefits of being on the team and receiving the support, both financial and human resources, but also to be part of building the environment for the next generation. So I think it's the right thing to do, and it's great to see that happens with skaters from different countries. And yeah.
Alexei, his personal best still comes from 2 seasons ago, certainly on the ISU personal best, and that was below the 50-point marker. So I'm hoping that Alexei here is going to finally cross that threshold. I feel like every 10 points up in a short program is a real celebration for the skater. So climbing over 50 points would be a real coup.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? The 50, the 60, the 70, the 80. Let's take a look at the scores and see what his score and reaction is. The scores for Aleksei Vlasenko, season's best at 50.19. Not much of a reaction, but he breaks the 50 mark, and that'll put him currently into 14th place, pardon me. Well, it's interesting, American, Japanese, and Canadian. I haven't seen that mix in the men's event after the short program for, I don't remember, for years and years and years, if it's ever happened. I think it has. But, good job. And we'll see the standings. Yeah, we'll see the standings. Here it is. Wow, Ean Weiler in 4th place and Arlet Levandi in 5th. As we take a look at the final standings in the men's short program, the final event here on day 1. And that concludes our coverage here in Ankara, Turkey. Tomorrow we'll start with the rhythm dance. We'll move on to the pairs free program. We'll finish the day with the women's free, day number 2, and medal events. Medals will be presented tomorrow as well. For all of us here at the ISU, thank you to Kirsten Moore-Towers. For Mark Hanratty, I'm Ted Barton. Thank you for watching. Make sure you join us tomorrow.
Since you felt like this, been a while since you felt like this, been a while since you felt like this, there must be something wrong. I guess I since you felt like this, been a while since you felt like this, been a while since you felt like this, there must be something wrong, I guess I found out. Been a while since you felt like this, been a while since you felt like this, been a while since you felt like this, there must be something wrong, bro.